Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bancroft being joined again by Jimmy, Jake, and like always, again, Fluff.
This just doesn't feel right.
What's going on, y'all? This feels like old times.
Yeah, it feels like it should be. What up, beautiful people?
Jake, I'm not paying you to be nostalgic.
Today's matchup is actually kind of a rematch, where, Fluff has just came back. He's been busy with work. He's been other things, supposedly dead. Didn't get time to really...
I did die.
Yes. Didn't get much time to do much tweaking. So he's playing Gotenks again, but he made some changes before this particular event. He took out the entire engine that he hardly ever played last week for more good yellow cards. And I was in the process of getting a new job and taking care of other things. I'm playing Prison again. But I love Prison. Such a great deck.
At least it's not AOD.
So it's a camera rematch from last week.
It is.
Yeah. How are you feeling about starting up, getting this match going? How are you feeling about it?
So I started out the way I should have last time, by charging a yellow card. It is a multicolored card, which is fine. The quote-unquote, I would say the Gentleman Light turn, because I did use a leader effect to get another card in my hand. But
True.
be able to just establish a red-yellow as soon as possible. That way, if I need to bounce to a giant ball or the cold bloodlust, I can. Or I still have the utility of the red energy.
Yeah, that's a good start. What's the name of that card? Is it Instinctive Reprisal?
Almighty Resistance.
Almighty Resistance. How do you feel about that card? I've wanted to test it at times, but have never really got around to trying it out.
Same. It was long. I remember seeing it before. I'm like, this would be an interesting card. Never used it. And then I was like, man, I'm making Prison again. I'm gonna throw the Broly engine in there. And I'm like, man, I do miss Cold Bloodlust. All right, it's time to make it red yellow. Oh, and that was the first card I pulled.
That's so unfortunate.
Yellow being what yellow is, I don't do a lot if Bancroft doesn't do a lot. So this is just it's like a showdown at the old Golden Corral here, where if he doesn't do anything, I don't do anything.
I don't even have to attack, and your life's going down. So, but you are getting more resources than I am because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of resources, it's interesting that every time you activate an extra card, which is the majority of the deck, first time each turn, he's going to be drawing a card and adding a marker to his unison. And over time, that's going to mean a lot.
Yeah. And I'm keeping that in mind as well. There are times I got to choose, okay, if I can establish my unison, then I can Wolfang Fist on the unison attack. That way it just kind of trades out, so it's not really making a difference there. He'll still get the draw out of it, though. But that was kind of the mindset in some of those moments.
That makes sense. Just try and minimize what you're giving.
The problem is, for the big minus on this unison to matter, I have to get you to use your energy. And sometimes that's easier said than done.
Yeah. Especially against Prison.
And I absolutely love being able to play this yellow ape in the deck because it is a 4-cost. So, on turns like this where I don't know what to fully do, I can just do a draw. And that draw is actually what gave me the unison.
Oh, wow.
But I did whiff on the unison search, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. You can't get all the value,
I would say this past weekend I had a match where I only successfulully found 2 extra cards out of the 7 times I searched. And I don't know how that happened, because I still play majority extra cards.
It's bad luck.
But I think the difference between this matchup and then last week's, that right there you see with Fluff, he was like, you know what? Begins to go towards the unison instead. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. I want to hang on to this Wolfang Fist for the unison attack. But then he double strikes me, and I'm like, oh, never mind. So I just let it go.
The thought process there is that while that unison itself doesn't provide a ton of pressure against me, what it will do is in later stages of the match, when I'm ready to clear up the match, that's another blocker that I have to, or another response that I have to deal with in order to get through the opponent's life. So I wanted that unison out of the way as quick as possible.
And
Yeah.
in my matches, it gets up on the marker count. So then once I get to like 5 or 6, I have no problem with just -2 and pulling 2 X cards back to my hand from my drop area.
Yeah, and I was going to say the ability to recycle extra cards is really punishing because extra cards have so little counterplay anyway. Being able to use the same copy more than once is just huge.
And there's another whiff. It's a bad week on these searches.
Yeah, every time you whiffed, I chuckled a little bit inside, just because like you should get good at this game, and draw the cards instead of whiffing. It's skill. It's a skill based thing.
It's a skill based thing. I don't know why I'm getting pulled in this circle all of a sudden.
Was that genuine?
That was 100% genuine.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Look, we all can't have leaders that self-awaken, draw a card, unisons that do pretty much a plus.
You're not part of the. You're not a part of this, Bancroft. Let's just move on.
So, going to this turn, I just pass. I whiff on the search, and I just pass.
Okay, maybe you should get good. Maybe you should just get cards you can actually play.
Well, I need to go down.
Why don't you throw some like double strike Champas in this list? It's never stopped you before.
I don't know what you're talking about. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't. Can you, Bancroft?
No, you can't. So
there's no proof of that either.
There's no proof of that either.
Speaking of proof.
Switching out your unisons, like you were talking to everyone at the shop about newer getting like switching cards out and whatnot and borrowing cards from people, and I didn't catch that you wanted to add more unisons, so I wasn't expecting you to play this card because you didn't have it originally in your first build. But like, you're going to awaken this turn because the leader's self-awakening. So just being able to pay the 3, play this, and get 2 more unison swings out of the way, and then awaken to reset your energy. So you still have 3 energy to do whatever you need to do for this turn.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Trunks unison personally. Honestly, I think these are my copies, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, I love this unison.
Yeah, I like this unison too. I had not been playing it. And like while I've always really liked the unison, you actually turned me on to being more proactive with this unison and the amount of pressure / problem solving ability this unison provides the list.
Yeah, in a previous video, we talked about even paying 3 for it and just turning it sideways at your opponent's unisons or battle cards, and then just using the +0 to like pop little things on the board, little blockers and whatnot, and not even worrying about the -3, unless you can like load a copy under and get up to 4 markers.
The game that didn't make it on camera, but that +0 was so huge in that game, honestly. Because it was like every turn I was able to just get rid of a blocker or get rid of a threatening Saiyan or something like that.
Oh, yeah. It's all around. Like, I think a lot of people passed up on it because it does cost 3, but now in the world of like 4-cost Majin Buu unisons and stuff, I think it's getting a second look.
I think so too. So Bancroft, where's your head at right now? You tap the 3 there and then undo it. What were you planning on doing there?
I couldn't because I didn't have enough extra cards in my drop area. I wanted to play Broly, but I got mixed up. I was like, oh, he has 5 energy, or I have 5 energy. Yeah. It's like you have to have 3 energy and 5 extra cards. I think I only have 3 in the drop area right now. So I was like, oh, never mind, can't do that. I think I even said in the match, I was like, oh, nope, I can't do it yet. I think the turn I played a unison really hurt that opportunity right there because I was tapped out. And because I delayed on doing certain things to keep the unison protected, I could have Wolf Fang Fist you early on. which could give more build-up, potentially keeping the unison at one marker instead. But you could have wasted resources in your hand just to get that, make sure the hit went through anyways, though.
Yeah.
Although now that you have it, it only costs 1.
Yeah.
And at this stage of the game, you can use it to remove that Frieza if he turns it sideways, or get out of one of these turretless swings. I think overall it's a pretty decent card to hold on to. You know, like it's not the worst thing in the world to still have access to it.
And with the Violent Rays, I'm able to potentially pinch another extra card on top of that. So there, I think I now have, I think it might be 4. I think I had 2 prior in there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good floodgate.
I think you called unison on that swing.
I did.
On that Violent Ray. Which I'm okay with. Because either way, I have things that I'm going to be able to do here.
The mindset was, you still have all your energy, so I know you can still play explosive cards. But if I can just stop at least those 2 attacks right now and then focus on whatever you play afterwards, I should be safe. I will say a downside is that I also since I don't play the Scouter card, I can't remember top of my mind what's it called.
New model.
Yeah, new model Scouter. Because I only play like now 8 Frieza's Army cards, and there's a huge chance that's a waste of energy.
Yeah, it's just a dead card in your list.
I'm now back to old school super combos where it's kind of like, if I draw it, sweet. If I don't, that sucks. And that's the situation I'm in currently as well. And because I pitched the, I think in the moment I didn't think about this card being played. And I pitched the only other negate I think I could have used during this card's attack.
Oof. You have like a... Yeah, you have like a battle card based negate or something.
I have a topo, but I cannot use it right now.
And Dragon Fist is so good at getting around Violent Rays with this Trunks because he really baits your opponent into calling unisons with the dual attack, and then you just play an even stronger dual attack right behind it.
Yeah.
So I do opt out taking the damage here. And when he swings the second time, I use the leader's ability, which I think was the first time I saw a super combo, was off the life.
Oof.
And here I just cold bloodlust the Bardock, so that was just a single strike.
Yeah, only one attack.
Yep. And I think this might be a moment where I got mixed up with the Dragon Fist's auto. And I think right there I just called it out. I'm like, I could have negated it, and I think at this point I've already said no negate. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. We corrected it then. I couldn't remember exactly what happened there in that moment.
I'm considering if I want to respond to the topo myself.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got prison to 1. He's tapped up. It might be time to push.
I put Topo back. That was a complete accident. And so you're sitting here debating what you want to do. You're down to 2 energies. I'm like, okay, cool. He can't cool or not. And then when you said, I'm thinking about responding, I'm like, shit, he has a secret rare in his hand. And the secret rare, like the attack's still negated, but then you have a 40k swing coming at me now.
Yeah, and for 1 energy, it's hard to not cast it there.
Yeah.
Especially where you're just on 1 life here.
Yeah, and I'm tapped out now too. And you start comboing up, and I'm like, let's just stop. But you're just like, no, I'm rubbing it in now. And I'm like,
You've got to. For the camera, you've got to.
So here I was explaining that I could have rivaled.
Oh, nobody cares what you could have done. You should have just done it. Okay? Come on, man.
So I was explaining the fluff of the situation, like another option I could have done, but I didn't see it right away. And after seeing the secret rare, that's the card actually I was going to play against you actually on that one turn. It wasn't the Broly, it was the secret rare. And I decided not to because I knew you had open energy and life to negate if you needed to.
Yeah,
that was just so much pressure in a single turn.
Yeah, this deck like yellow explodes out of nowhere now.
So With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's matchup. Keep in mind those buttons down below and on the screen. And like always, fluff through the rest. You're here now.
Yeah, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. Get good and draw cards you need when you need them. It's a skill, it's not luck. Fluff out.